Everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina and today is going to be my let's declutter before I move because I don't want to pack all of this stuff. Declutter. So before I jump into today's declutter, definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button because I do upload on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard, and I don't want you guys to miss out on any of my videos if these are interesting to you. And now let's get into this kind of maybe savage declutter, but not really. I just uploaded my inventory and honestly my makeup collection's not really out of control. I have a lot less than I did when I moved here, so I'm really not worried about it. I think everything I have will fit in one box, so it's really not going to be as savage as I thought it was going to be, but regardless, there are some things I could probably get rid of. Alright friends, so as you can see, we are on the floor. Like I said, I just did my makeup inventory and I basically pulled everything out of my vanity and put it on the floor so I could count everything, and it's still sitting here because I'm going to just pack it right after this. I'm just going to go ahead and start packing all of the stuff I need to pack into boxes, and I will also be filming that, so that will be probably uploaded the week we're moving. That way we have content going up, so you'll see that later on. But yeah, for now, we're on the floor. I do apologize. It's an awful mess in this room. It's really, really bad, but I hope you forgive me. So we're gonna be starting with our primers and foundations. As for primers, I really don't think there's anything I want to declutter out of these. I don't have that big of a collection as far as primers, so I feel pretty good about just like taking this right out and moving to foundations. There are some foundations that I think I can and should get rid of. First one being this guy. So this is my Too Faced Born to Run in the color Vanilla. It is just too yellow and too dark for me, so I'm going to send it to my mom more than likely, because my mom is more of like an olivey yellow skin tone than I am. I am very pink and pale. Thanks, Dad, for that. And I think my mom would probably get more used to this. So a lot of this makeup that I'm decluttering is going to be going to my sister and my mom. I'm probably just going to mail them together and let them look through, and then from there they can decide what they want. Anything that I think has been used too much, I'm just going to throw out, clean it out, and then recycle the packaging. Is typically what I try to do with anything that like can't be passed on, especially in the current climate that we're in. You know, certain things can't really be donated, so I will do my best to clean them out and then donate them. I mean, recycle them. I'll do my best to clean them out and then recycle them. But this, I think, it hasn't been used very much. It's just not the right color for me. I've tried this foundation multiple times. I don't think it looks the best on me. The color just isn't right, and it just needs to move on. I don't need to be bringing this with me when I know I'm not going to use it. Next one that I will probably also be doing the same thing with is this. So this is my Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. I use this a few times as well, and it's just really, really dry on my skin. I have dry skin, so it's just something that doesn't work for me. I wish it did though, because the packaging is stunning. It's really, really pretty, but it's just not going to work for me. I've had it for a really long time now, and as you can see, not much has been used. It's still basically as full as the Too Faced one, so this is another one that I can send towards family. My sister and me are about the same skin tone. As for the rest of my foundations, I think everything else is good. I'm working on a few for Project Pan. I think everything else I'm okay with in here, and I feel comfortable keeping these. So we are done with foundations. In this little container we have bronzers. Now we have this Lorac Tantalizer right here. Oh, you can see the camera. Hello. But this is my Lorac Tantalizer. This looks familiar probably to you guys who were here last year for my Project Pans. So as you can see, I finished up the highlighter last year in my Project Pan, and the bronzer has pan in it, but it is honestly really, really dark for me. I haven't reached for it since that Project Pan. It's older. I got it at TJ Maxx like 3 years ago, and I just don't think it's a great bronzer personally. It just doesn't look the best on me. You guys have been listening to me complain about how hard it is to find bronzers, and I know a lot of you guys understand. So this is just one of those items that I feel like I will just try to clean it out and recycle the packaging, and because I don't know anyone who this would even work for. It's just old, and I feel like I don't need to bring it with me when I know I'm not going to reach for it willingly. Next product is my Pretty Vulgar bronzer, and this I've actually decluttered before, and then I used it a little bit, and I thought about decluttering it again this time, but I don't know. Even though it's really similar, if I can open this packaging is kind of annoying. As far as tone, it's pretty similar to the Lorac one, but it is a little bit more cool than the Lorac bronzer. So I think I'm going to keep this around, even though I'm kind of debating it. But I ended up bringing it back in last time I decluttered it, and I don't mind it. I debated on decluttering this Physician Formula Bronze Booster, but I really like the contour shade. The one in the middle is really nice, so I'm going to end up keeping this too. I wish the packaging was so much nicer though. So that really is going to be it. I have a unopened butter bronzer that I bought as a backup forever ago. I'll get to it eventually. I love it. And that's about it. Everything else I'm actually using. So that's it for bronzers. So getting into my face palette category, I really need to make some decisions on a couple of these at least and see. So as far as like my Soph X and my Nicole Guerrero highlighting kits, I do like to keep highlighting kits for like traveling. Highlight kits I've been using more so for body highlights, especially now that it's summer. I use a lot of these as like shoulder highlights, which is really nice. So I'm gonna keep these two. I think the one I'm leaning towards decluttering though is this Tarteist Pro Glow. I really like the packaging and I like the products, but again, the bronzers are a little bit too dark for me. The highlights I have in other products, and then the blushes I like, but again, I probably have similar tones of blush, and it's just something I don't really need. I have so many other face palettes that I use. So I think I'm going to declutter this. I think my sister or my mom would probably like this as well. I'll clean it up and send this to them. The other one I was debating on is this Smashbox one, but I bought it because I love the packaging and I do reach for some of these. It's like one of those things that is just so bulky and I'm like, do I really need it? But I do really like this, so I think I'm gonna end up keeping it. I think that might be the only face palette I'm gonna declutter, because you guys know I love the Lunatic Labs Smashbox one. I'm not ready to quite get rid of it yet. We'll see how it goes. It would be one less thing to pack, but I just feel like I'll probably still reach for it. I just love the packaging. And then maybe this Cover FX one, I actually really like. I got in a BoxyCharm. I've actually like almost hit pan on this brightener shade, and the contour shade actually works pretty well. I didn't think it would, but it works pretty well as a bronzer, not really a contour. And I like this finishing powder. So I still use like half of the products in there, so I think I'll keep that as well. And I love the Pirates of the Caribbean one. And that one's basically almost panned completely in some shades, and I just love it, so I'm going to keep that. As for highlights. My highlights is a section that I said in my inventory I really wanted to make progress in because it's really big and I haven't been using a lot of my highlights. So this section needs to be touched. First thing that I want to talk about is this Milani highlight. So this is the first thing I want to talk about. This is my Milani highlight trio. I had it in my Shop My Stash last month and I said it was on the chopping block because it just looks so pretty, and when you swatch it, it's really nice. But to be honest, I can really only use this shade, and these two are just way too dark. I could use them as eyeshadows, but you guys are pretty familiar with my collection by now. I have these colors in eyeshadows 100 times over. I don't need a highlight trio for that. It's still in pretty good condition, so this is something I feel like I can just sanitize it and pass it on to family, because I don't really reach for it that much, but I also have a lot more makeup than a lot of my family, and I feel like they may like it more than I do. I just don't reach for a glittery highlight. It would probably be prettier on the body, but again, I have things that I can use on my body, so I just think I need to send it on its way. Oh man, this is what I was talking about. I'm looking at the rest of these now and I'm like, I don't want to get rid of anything else. Oh no, I don't want to get rid of anything else. I think, okay, the eternal struggle. And I think we're gonna move on. If I need to, I'll come back to it, but like, I still can fit all of this in one box, I'm sure, so I don't feel the pressure yet. And then as far as like my bullet lipsticks and my liquid lips, I recently did a declutter on those, so I don't feel like I need to declutter anything. And then as far as my blushes, I don't have that many, and all the blushes I have I enjoy, so I don't think I need to declutter those. I would like to go through my single shades though. So I have these two palettes for single shades. So as you can see, it's pretty messy in here because some of these are breaking, which sucks. I dropped my ColourPop shades, and so a couple of them broke. This guy broke, which sucks. And my glass bowl is like really crumbly too. Don't know why it gets shipped to me that way, but it's been crumbly this whole time. But I think I really want to finish this guy. Like, it would be so cool to get him like completely done and out of here. I feel really, oh god, I just dug my fingernail in there. I feel really bad about this shade. I don't even know the shade name. It's not on the back. I don't know where this came from. I don't think I've ever used it, and it kind of broke a little bit. It's not really that pretty of a shade. Maybe that was just a bad swatch. Let me try that again. No, it's not that pretty. I feel like it's popping out of this tray. I don't think it's that pretty, personally. It's kind of like a dingy, I'm kind of dead green. As for all of these other shades, I reach for a lot of these other ones a lot. Maybe not this red one. I don't think I've ever used this red one. Don't know where this guy came from either. Okay, let's swatch that. That's pretty though. I like that one a lot more. I don't know why I don't reach for my single shades as much as I should. Is this red similar? This looks a lot more blood toned. Honestly, on the hand, they're not that much different. I mean, this one definitely is darker than that, but they're both shimmers. They're not much different. Honestly, I don't have any reds though, so I'm gonna do an awful job at decluttering my single shades, clearly. And then over here, I just depotted a bunch of these, but I know there's one shade in here I don't reach for like ever, and it's this guy. This is from a Winky Lux palette, and I used to love this shade, and then I depotted it and I never reached for it again. So maybe let me swatch it and see if swatching it will reignite my love for it. God, I used to reach for this shade all the time. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, why? Why did I love it so much? I'm decluttering it. I don't need it. And then these are all my Pat McGraths over here. Pretty Vulgar down here and down here. I think I'm good with the rest of these. I think everything else I've reached for a good bit. I just need to clean up these, and I need to make sure I pack these really well. That way they don't break anymore. I'll probably put paper like on top of them and then bubble wrap them really well. But I think I'm just going to get rid of these two shades. I have some other single shades that I can put in a tiny magnetic palette, and maybe my sister would like those as well. And then these three palettes I think are going to be the only ones I declutter out of my collection, because everything else I pretty much still reach for and enjoy, but these three I just don't do as often, or reach for them, or don't enjoy any of those. So the first one on the chopping block is the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette. I did have this in a project pan a while back for that brown shade, but you guys, again, know my collection. I have these shades 100 times over in palettes that I enjoy better, that are higher quality. These tend to be a little bit more difficult to work with in comparison to some of my other palettes. They're not bad and I still enjoy it, but I have these shades and I don't need this palette. Next one is this J-Cat Santa Monica palette, which was a huge disappointment. I had this in a few eyeshadow roulettes, and the shades are just completely duds. It looks so beautiful, but the shades just do not perform well at all. I think I'm just going to try and scrape out the shadows, clean this out, and then recycle it, because it is just completely plastic, and because it just doesn't perform at all, and I don't even feel like anyone would want this palette because it's like not good quality at all. It was such a disappointment. And then this last palette has actually been decluttered before, and my dumbass brought it back in. This is the Carly Bible Deluxe Edition palette. I brought it back in because I looked at the shades and was like, oh, they're so pretty. This is limited edition. I should try it again. And then I tried it again and didn't really want to use it. So I am going to send this off to someone else because clearly I don't ever really reach for it, which again sucks. It was limited edition. It's something that I wish I was more interested in. I'm just not that interested in. So then I have all of these other palettes over here still, and I feel really good with all of these palettes. The only ones I'm kind of thinking about is these Storybook ones. I may try and depot these because the packaging is so big, but again, I think all of my makeup will fit in one like small box, so I'm not really too fussed with anything else. I decluttered my lipsticks pretty good, and the only other big category is my eyeshadow palettes, but I'm not too worried about how much I have now. I think I have a very manageable number of products, so I think that's gonna be it, guys. I know we were kind of expecting me to be a little bit more cutthroat, but I just don't feel like my collection's that big, especially after doing my inventory, to the point where I need to be super cutthroat about it. I still feel good about what I have in my collection. I still feel like this is all a manageable amount to move with, and I'm really excited to see the new setup and get everything put into its place once we finish our move. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you all are doing well. Let me know down in the comments what kind of content you guys would like to see from me over the next couple of weeks. I think I have everything kind of planned out, but if there's any videos you guys are more interested in, I would definitely like to film those for you. And yeah, thank you guys for all of the support, and remember, there is always magic to be found. Bye!